Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Shaun Solo. So, if you haven't heard already, which I imagine is probably impossible, Fallout 4 officially announced. Official. Came out with a trailer, and also the announcement of the platforms it's going to be available for, which will be the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. So this is all new generation. What was not announced was a release date or a tentative release date, which I believe is probably going to come around E3 because a lot of people didn't think they were going to see anything or hear anything about Fallout 4 until E3, but Bethesda, as they are wont to do, works on their own timetable. The reason why a lot of people thought it was going to be announced at E3 was because Bethesda is actually going to have its own event, its own showcase, its own conference, if you will, talking about what they got coming down the pipeline and whatnot. But anyways, moving on to the trailer itself, really interesting, really cool. I mean, it is a teaser in the most directed definition of the term. It's just kind of showing you environments, the world, kind of setting a tone, which it's very, very, very Fallout-ish. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff in here. Which is one of the cooler things I kind of picked up from the trailer is that maybe we might see a little bit of the world before the nuclear war happened, or before everything was laid to waste, where it looks like you're going to get a little slice of life. I'm wondering if maybe that's how the game starts, because most of the time, you start in a vault, and then it kind of goes from there as you wake up in this barren wasteland. I'm a fairly big fan of Fallout 3. I spent time with it when it first was released. I've never really gone back to it, honestly. And it's not because I didn't like it. It's just I just didn't. I don't know why. I kind of one and done it. I probably played for about 50 hours. Actually, my brother Ryan, who sometimes does things on this channel as well, and we'll hopefully get him back into the swing of things pretty soon here. He's actually playing Fallout 3 right now, unsolicited. Because Ryan, while he's a big gamer and he's a big game fan, he's not one to follow kind of media. He's not one to go read articles and stuff like that. So he did that unsolicited without any even notion that there was going to be a Fallout 4. He just wanted to play the game again. So it was kind of cool. I've kind of watched him play some of the game and kind of saw what it is. It's a game of its time. It's definitely a little clunky and antiquated. And if you played it on PlayStation 3, holy shit, that frame rate. But anyways, moving on. So I'm just kind of curious what we're going to have, what we can expect from a new Fallout game, I suppose. If Skyrim is any indicator, I think it's going to be a much more streamlined experience. I think it's going to be way more accessible. It's not going to lean as heavily into the RPG side of it. What I'm most curious about is if the VAT system is actually still going to be in the game, which is something that I thought was fine, and I think it can potentially break the game in terms of, but that's really only if you put a lot of time into it. I mean, that's usually the criticism I hear echoed kind of lately, since this has been kind of in the conversation. Just that was kind of a broken system, and maybe hopefully they will do away with it. I think they probably will. I think you're going to get a much more straightforward combat system. I think it's going to be much more first-person shooter-esque, instead of kind of leaning into some RPG-ish mechanics that the VAT system basically was, because the VAT system allowed you to direct your shots and stuff like that for higher impact and get headshots and take out certain limbs and whatever, and it was all based on your stats, on your character stats. So that's going to be an interesting thing, I think. Hopefully we'll find more about that once E3 rolls around and they talk more about it. A lot of the cool things in this trailer, it kind of just hints at this larger world and the larger calamity of everything and how things have been affected, and just very subtly. I thought it was a really well done teaser that actually got me excited. It got me excited because I want to explore these environments. I want to play in this world. It looks really cool. I mean, it looks very Fallout for sure. But they're definitely taking advantage of, technological advancements and whatnot. I'm not sure what the engine this is being developed in. I assume it's probably just Bethesda's in-house thing. I'm not sure what tweaks they've made to it. So that's going to be exciting. It's exciting. It's very really cool. Like this is kind of one of the first big games to be announced that like people have been clamoring for years. You know, this is something people have wanted for, they were hoping like last year that there was going to be a Fallout 4 announcement. Fallout 4 came out. When did Fallout 4, or Fallout 3 came out rather? In 2008. So, and this is probably going to be a 2016 game. I'll be really surprised if it comes out this fall. That'd be cool. But hopefully it's not rushed out the gate to get it out for that holiday season, which they're one to do. Bethesda, they're business minded people. They released Skyrim in the fall, in in the November time window, and it kind of leads to a lot of problems because they're not taking enough time with QA, which is something Bethesda's kind of famous for. And to say they don't take enough time it's an unfair statement, but they are buggy messes usually at launch, and so much so that like sometimes some of the platforms it's on are completely unplayable. I remember Skyrim in that game has so many problems. It is a fantastic game. It's one of my favorites. That is a game I've actually gone back to several times since its release and have put some hours into it. But it's buggy. It's a buggy mess, especially if you had it on console. Like the PS3 version, at some point was almost unplayable, which is something that just kind of happened as it went. As they released patches for it, it actually adversely affected the game, which was it was a bummer for me because I had it on PS3. That's what I decided to buy it on. So hopefully they're just going to be a little bit more careful with that stuff. Maybe they've been able to work out some of the bugs, considering if they are using kind of the Elder Scrolls-ish engine, if they're doing something based on that, maybe they've been able to work out some of the kinks in the interim. I really hope so, because this game looks gorgeous, and I hope that the visuals match up with the performance, I guess. It looks cool. Like, I can't wait to explore this world and check this stuff out. I'm actually just as interested as kind of the framing device for it. In terms of what's going on and what happened. Not that we need everything explained, but I think it's going to be a neat little thing. A neat little added bonus, added context. There's so much attention to detail in some of the the little areas they showed, just with people kind of hanging on to their old lives and in this desolate wasteland, trying to get back to some sense of normalcy. It's the world as some kind of anthropological graveyard of our past lives. And it looks really awesome. I mean, even some of the lighting effects are amazing. Hopefully it actually looks like the trailer. I know there's been a lot of controversy as of late with Watch Dogs and even Witcher 3 about the graphical downgrade that took place at launch. They show a proof of concept, or they show a teaser a couple years in advance, and the game you get, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look as gorgeous as what they showed. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It's actually probably has a lot to do with just the modern console tech can only be pushed so far. They're antiquated almost already. Especially for third-party developers, maybe in-house, for example, I bet you Uncharted 4 is going to look amazing. It's probably going to be the best-looking game on the console, as usually those first-party published games are. So we'll see. We'll have to see what the deal is. What's the diggity? I'm excited. I'm sure everybody's excited. I can't imagine people not looking forward to not just the new Fallout game, but the new Bethesda game. They're really special and they're unique, and they're something to be lauded because of just the expansive nature of them. I mean, they really are the future, right? Just in terms of gameplay options and ability. So I'm hoping this is gonna follow suit with kind of their upward trajectory of quality, because I know the idea of it being simplified in terms of mechanically simplified bothers some people. I know that, and I understand. I get it, but I think we have to look at like kind of these older titles as foundational titles, and then we need to iterate in ways that make sense, not just to you know support like a broader audience, which is part of it, but also because some of those old antiquated mechanics are old and antiquated, and they need to go sometimes. I'm a person. I play a lot of older PC games, so I'm pretty comfortable with a lot of old fashioned stuff. In terms of the way you play the game and whatnot. But I also like a more enjoyable experience if things can be streamlined and made more accessible, easier, less tedious. I mean, because that's what when we're talking about, like especially RPGs, a lot of older games are just tedious relative to games today. So I'm okay with, like I said, things being a little bit streamlined. But yeah, looks cool. Looks like a good one. I'll probably buy it, right? How can we not buy this thing? One thing I am actually curious about, just because it had so much prominence in the teaser, is the dog. I'm wondering if we're gonna have an AI dog companion. That would be pretty cool. Somebody to traverse the desert wasteland with us. So it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to find out more about it, really, because it's a teaser. There's really not much to say about it other than, hey, that looks pretty cool, and so it does. All right, everybody. I think that's gonna about do it for me. Yeah, Fallout 4. It was officially announced. Should be good. Hopefully, maybe. The hype train begins. Leaving the hype station now. Get on that hype train.